One of the reasons people stop GLP-1 therapies are fear of side effects or not being able to manage side effects. After supporting more than 200,000 long-term GLP-1 journeys, what surprised us wasn't that side effects occurred, it's how they changed over time. In this video, we're going to break down the 4 biggest myths of GLP-1 side effects, and hopefully this will help you along your journey. Hey y'all, I'm Eric. I'm the Chief Science Officer at Shotsy. I'm a scientist and an engineer who spent most of my career working in drug discovery and development and in academia at Harvard Med and Duke Med. Also, I worked at FDA. I spent a lot of my time subspecializing in digital health and how digital tools help patients or even harm patients if they're not used correctly. In this video, I'm going to share scientifically validated information, but I'm not going to give you medical advice. For medical advice, please talk to your healthcare provider. Okay, myth number 1 about side effects is that if you start off a drug and you have side effects, that you're going to have these side effects forever. After studying 200,000 patient journeys, I can tell you that this isn't what we saw. What we saw is side effects actually change over time. Just like your body adapts to the drug and you may need to change your dose, your body is going to adapt to the drug from the standpoint of things like side effects. And in fact, what we saw were certain side effects tended to happen very early in the journey and then go away for a lot of people, and other side effects may last the entire time you're on the medicine, but may be mild enough to live with. So let's look at a little representative data. Now, this is a population level observation, and individual experiences can vary dramatically and likely vary dramatically because these are averages. But what's interesting is that many of the symptoms people worry most about, nausea, food noise, heartburn, migraine, appetite suppression, tend to be concentrated early in treatment and often decline substantially over time. Now, again, this doesn't mean they're going to go away for you. You have to monitor yourself carefully, and that's why we advise people to use a tracker to keep track of their side effects, because your mind is a terrible medical record. A piece of paper or an app works better. But the goal here is to understand what's happening over time. Very similarly, some of these side effects may get mild deliverable, but things like constipation and diarrhea, they just may be part of having this drug. You may just have more of those things the entire time you're on this drug. The truth is that as you tune your dose, most people adapt, and part of that adaptation is their side effects get more tolerable. That said, some side effects aren't going to be tolerable, and you should pay attention to that and not tolerate things that make you feel sick. It's not worth it. Myth number 2 is that side effects mean something is wrong. You're actually introducing a new drug into your body, and your body's going to react to it. Most medications you take have some form of side effects, and some side effects with GLP-1s are simply considered normal. So what should you expect? Your appetite's going to change. You might have some nausea. You might have some stomach upset, like diarrhea or constipation. These things are actually considered pretty normal and tend to moderate over time. So what symptoms should you not tolerate? Severe symptoms, persistent symptoms that don't change or go away, symptoms that interfere with your quality of life, symptoms that make you too sick. As an example, a lot of people tend to change meds or change their dose if they start noticing hair loss, which makes sense. Some symptoms just simply aren't to be tolerated. That brings us to myth number 3. And myth number 3 is that you have to tolerate side effects to be on GLP-1 therapy. The fact is that most people do experience some side effects, but that doesn't mean you have to live with horrible side effects. One of the most dangerous misconceptions of GLP-1 therapy is that you either need to suffer or you need to quit. That's not what we see. We see that people don't suffer or quit. We see that people adapt. They persist. If the side effects are too much, they may lessen their dosage. If their side effects are too much, they may talk to their doctor and try a different drug. They may titrate their dose up or down over time if they hit plateaus. So think adaptation and persistence, and what side effects can you live with? Don't think, oh, these side effects are terrible, but this is the price I have to pay to be on this medication. That's simply not true. What does adaptation look like? Many successful journeys actually have a fair amount of adaptation. So if we look at people that lost 10% of their body weight on a GLP-1 or reached their goal of a healthy body weight, depending on, regardless of wherever they started with their body weight, there's a couple things that stand out. People do tend to switch their dose. They have an initial dose, they get to a steady state dose, and then they go to a maintenance dose. Typically 5 or 6 dose changes over a year or two are pretty common. The other thing that we see is about 15 to 20% of patients change their medication. So almost 1 out of 5 will simply try a different drug to see if it gives them a different experience. So adaptation is key. It's not just once and done. It's not that there's only one option to anything. Think adaptation and persistence, and also think, can I really live on this for a year or two? Because if you can't, you probably want to change the strategy. The key here is to think of side effects as feedback, not punishment. Your body's telling you something. So if you have side effects and they get to be too much, does lowering your dose make them better? If you have side effects and your side effects are getting better and you're doing great, that's just simply your body adapting. Side effects aren't punishment, they're information. So think of it that way. So myth number 4 goes along with this: you have to suffer. Myth number 4 is side effects mean the medicine's working. Well, side effects means it's doing something. It may or may not be helping you. The big thing is, again, think side effects as information. But thinking about side effects as information, you've got to understand that it's information that comes out over a long period of time. If you're dosing yourself weekly for weeks, months, years, those signals are going to change. Side effects are going to come and go. That's why we feel tracking is so important. Whether you're using a digital app like Shotsy to track your GLP-1 experience, or whether you're using a piece of paper, side effects change over time, and tracking is the best way to know how you're really feeling. Often patients will say something like, I felt better 3 months ago and I haven't changed my dose. Well, what else changed in their life? Did their appetite change? Did their sleep change? Did their work change? So the ability to understand that this is a marathon, not a sprint, and you need to think about how I'm going to track my journey, and being able to go back and look at how you felt or what you did 3 or 4 months ago. You know, your memory is a terrible medical record. And unless you're seeing a doctor weekly or being tracked very closely, your actual medical record won't have a lot of this data. So anyway, consider tracking with a tool like Shotsy or without a tool like Shotsy, whatever works best for you. So I hope these myths gave you a better understanding of GLP-1 side effects. Side effects aren't necessarily a problem, they're information. And most GLP-1 journeys aren't about finding a perfect dose and a perfect med and riding it out for a few years. There's always adaptation. Your body adapts to the drug and you adapt to the drug, both on your lifestyle and medically. And if you're looking for the best way to track your GLP-1 journey, check out the Shotsy app at shotsyapp.com and at the App Store.